Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick, Maine. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm a member of our Board of Trustees. Today's service is entitled Musical Ministry in the Time of COVID. Judd Caswell, his wife Marcy, and their kids Eleanor and Sam are longtime members here at UUCB. Marcy and Judd have both taught RE, Sam has worked in our nursery, and all the Caswells have shared much music with us, both individually and together. Since the end of March, Judd has been assembling our online services, and he is certainly well qualified to speak about today's topic. We hope you enjoy the service.
There's a young cowboy who lives on the range. His horse and his cattle are his only companions. He works in the saddle and he sleeps in the canyon, waiting for summer, his pastures to change. And as the moon rises, he sits by his fire, thinking about women and glasses of beer, closing his eyes as the doggies retire. He sings out his song, which is soft but it's clear, as if maybe someone could hear. He says, "Good night, you moonlight ladies, rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. Deep greens and blues are the colors I choose. Won't you let me go down in my dreams and rock-a-bye, sweet baby James." Now the 1st of December was covered with snow, so was the turnpike from Stockbridge to Boston. And though the Berkshires seemed dreamlike on account of that frosting, but 10 miles behind me, 10,000 more to go. There's a song that they sing when they take to the highway, a song that they sing when they take to the sea, a song that they sing of their home in the sky. Maybe you can believe it if it helps you to sleep. The singing works just fine for me. I said good night, moonlight ladies, rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. Deep greens and blues are the colors I choose. Would you let me go down my dreams and rock-a-bye, sweet baby James?
It is very strange to be on this side of the camera, talking into it instead of singing. But it's great to have this chance to do a service of my own this week. Our online services have been such a huge part of my life for the past few months. I thought I might take this opportunity today to reflect a bit on that experience. I want to use this time to thank you all for letting me do this work for you, to let you know how much it has meant to me and to my family. And I want to share a bit about what it's been like, what I've learned, and how the work for the UU has inspired me to look at my own work differently, almost as a kind of musical ministry in this time of COVID. And I want to share what this says to me about the work that we are all called to do, the opportunity that we have to minister to each other and to ourselves. So thank you for joining me here. And again, Thank you for this opportunity. Violet's Music by Angela Johnson. Illustrated by Laura Holiska Beath. When Violet was a baby, just a few hours old, she banged her rattle against the crib, hoping others in the nursery would join in. Boom, shake, beat, shake. All day long, Violet played that rattle. Could she find other babies to play along? No, she couldn't. But she'd keep looking. Violet played her music all alone. On Violet's second birthday, Aunt Bertha brought gifts and a box full of paper, crayons, glitter, and glue to make horns that would wail. Violet tooted from morning till that night. Wah, woo, woo, all day long. She tried to get everyone to toot with her all day. Wah, woo, woo, oh yeah. Violet blew that horn. Could she get her family to play with her? No, she couldn't. But she'd keep on looking. Violet blew her horn all alone. Violet wondered in kindergarten if there were other kids like her who dreamed music, thought music all day long. But she found that some liked to paint, some liked to paste, others liked to play in the sandbox, and still others just liked to stand around eating paste. No one wanted to play music all day long. One day at the beach, Violet played with a badminton racket, a pretend guitar, hoping someone would join in. Blink, blink, pluck, pluck. Violet played guitar. Could she find a fellow guitarist buried in the sand? No, she couldn't. But she'd keep looking. Violet played her guitar all alone. With Violet, you see, it was music all the time. Breakfast time, dinner time, bath time, and all times in between. Whenever she walked down the street, or hid behind the market's vegetable bins, or sat on the fire escape, Violet was always looking for kids like her. Could she find them at the zoo? Nope. At the museum? Too quiet. And forget about the dentist. But she'd keep looking. Violet and her music, always looking. Until one day, a few summers later, Violet was playing her guitar, a real one now, in the park. Twang, twang, yeah, yeah. Twang, twang, yeah. When over by the fountain, someone started beating a drum. Then, behind the jungle gym, a saxophone blew real smooth. And over beside the flower garden, someone started to sing. Now, Angel, Randy, and Juan are in Violet's band. And if you ask any of them whether they thought they'd find each other, they'll say, "Oh, yeah, we did. We knew we would. Because when we were in the nursery, then we're two. And later in kindergarten and at the beach, we kept on looking for kids playing music, too." Shake, twang, blink, pluck, wah, woo, yeah.
Sonnet by Elizabeth Bishop. I am in need of music that would flow over my fretful, feeling fingertips, over my bitter-tainted, trembling lips, with melody, deep, clear, and liquid slow. Oh, for the healing, swaying, old and low, of some song to rest the tired dead, a song to fall like water on my head, and over quivering limbs, dream-flushed to glow. There is a magic made by melody, a spell of rest and quiet breath and cool heart that sinks through fading colors, deep to the subaqueous stillness of the sea, and floats forever in a moon-green pool, held in the arms of rhythm and of sleep.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We're a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We're a justice-seeking people, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We're a land of many colors, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we're singing, singing for our lives. We're a gentle, loving people, and we're singing, singing for our lives.
The Ides of March really lived up to the warning this year. March 15 was the day that cancellations began for me. On March 14, my calendar was as full as I had ever seen it. 4 nights a week of shows and hosting open mics, a studio so booked out that I wasn't sure how I would even begin some projects, let alone finish them. I had just released a new record, and it was starting to do well. And with the support of a radio producer, I was looking at buying plane tickets to get myself out to a music conference in Tennessee in May. But on March 15th, I got that call from Pat Burns, sounding apologetic and weary, letting me know that we were going to have to hold off on live music for a while. One by one, every client and venue was forced to follow suit. For now, and for the foreseeable future, music was over. March 15 was a turning point for our congregation as well. The board had met earlier in the week and made the difficult decision to cancel our Sunday service. They would continue to evaluate as we got more information, but for now, and for the foreseeable future, church was over. I remember so vividly what this all felt like in those first days that felt like weeks. I looked at my family and my home, and I felt so lucky. I felt like whatever happened, we could handle it. We were going to be fine. But I looked just a little bit further out at the places I play music and my wider community, and I felt like there were a lot of people who were not going to be fine, and I felt totally powerless. I looked at myself, at my soon-to-be very idle hands, and felt totally useless. What could a musician do to help? I've been resisting this cliche, but I can't help myself. When God closes a door, he opens a window. Except in this case, it was Sylvia climbing in through the window of our computer screens that Sunday morning, with little Stevie the cat in her lap, with a message of hope and resilience and perseverance. A reminder of what we've been through together, and that together we would go on. And before it was over, I knew I would be calling her as soon as I could to volunteer to help make these services, because this was something I could do. I knew how, I had the tools, I had the time, and I really needed the sense of purpose that would come from doing this work. There's so much good that has come from this crisis. I feel weird saying it and seeing it that way, but there have just been so many blessings. As a congregation, we lost something important. We lost the chance to hold Sylvia close to us in her last days as our minister, but now we have this permanent record of her voice and her spirit from those final weeks and months. And we can go online and reconnect with her in a way that we would never have been able to. For me personally, it's been an amazing chance to work closely with so many people in the church, to be inspired and educated and ministered to in ways that I couldn't have predicted. For whatever time I've given, I've been repaid many times over. And I would like to share just 3 lessons from this time that have been really important to me. Lesson number 1, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. When we started pulling these online services together, there was no roadmap, really. For the first few weeks, almost everything we did was breaking new ground. We didn't know what was possible. We didn't know how things would turn out. I can still hear Sylvia's laugh when it looked like something just wasn't going to work, or we didn't even know how to begin. And her response would be, "We'll do the best we can. They'll understand." There was a need, and there was a deadline. And good enough is always good enough. If it wasn't, they'd call it something else. Lesson number 2, it's not about you. So we all want to put our best foot forward, to play to our strengths. We're really susceptible to feeling judged or feeling revealed. And it seems like it's getting worse. Like in this time of social media, we're living our lives in front of the camera. And there are some people who seem really at home there. They seem to just love and be loved by the camera. But for the rest of us, it can bring out all the unkindnesses that we hold for ourselves. We get guarded, we get careful and wary. But we desperately need to be vulnerable with each other right now. And you can't get anywhere by only putting your best foot forward. It might be too strong to say that Sylvia hated preaching to a camera, but I don't think so. I think she really did. It's not what she signed up for, and it was not what she wanted to do, but she knew it was what we needed her to do. So she and Steve set up in the upstairs bedroom where the light was best, and week in, week out, she did her utmost to reach through that camera to us. And she continued to be just as true and vulnerable with us as she ever was. Personally, I will never forget the COVID haircut service. Was there an audible gasp of, "Oh no," in your house as well when she reached up and made that first irreversible snip? What a vulnerable thing to do. And what a great symbol of everything that we've been doing through this whole COVID crisis. It feels like every step forward that we make is an irreversible snip of some sort. It really is like cutting your own hair. You're doing things that you've never tried, things you don't know how to do, and you don't even know if you have the tools around to do it right. It's hard to reach, it's hard to see, and you don't want to end up looking foolish. And then Sylvia steps up and says, "How hard could this be?" And she grabs the scissors and snip. So, lesson 3, consult the compass. I've never really broken down the phrase moral compass before. It's one of those metaphors that's been worn down to cliche by so much use that we don't give it a second thought. But I found myself thinking about it recently. So much of dealing with this crisis has been finding ourselves in uncharted waters. I have never known shutdowns and shortages like this before. I've never known this kind of protest from all sides in escalating volume and intensity. I've never known this kind of despair and anger to linger this close for this long. The path is unclear. And it reminds me a bit of the crisis we faced after the building burned. I spent a year on the building team, and a lot of that year felt a little like being in the wilderness to me. Every so often, the architect would present us a path that seemed to lead out of the pucker brush, a kind of path of least resistance. One of those had to do with handicap accessibility and the fact that we as a church didn't need to bear the burden of that expense, nor would we need to live with the unsightliness of ramps everywhere. We were exempt from the laws that would require that of us. Sylvia spoke little during these meetings. I think she felt it was not her role as minister to put her finger on the scale. But in every moment this idea arose, her voice was clear and firm. It was, in her estimation, a moral imperative that this church be completely handicap accessible, however that might be accomplished, whatever the cost. A moral compass doesn't know the path, but it knows when the path you're on is turning the wrong way. It doesn't know what obstacles lie between you and your destination, but it knows when the easy way around is actually really just going backwards. I will miss Sylvia's compass, but I feel like I've learned a lot watching her use it, and I think the 7 principles of the UU are printed on it somewhere, and I think we can all make use of that compass. So, good enough is good enough. It's not about you. Keep your eye on your compass. These were the lessons that I needed to give me the permission and the direction to do the work that I was really needing to do in this time, my own musical work. I'm a little like Violet in the story that I read today. Music is a constant companion of mine. Losing all of my gigs was so much more than just losing income. It was losing community and connection. It was losing a chance to be true to myself and to pursue my calling. Working on the church videos is important and meaningful work, but it's not enough. And I was feeling it. There's more that I needed to do. And like with the church, when the door was closed on the old way of doing things, a new window was opened. Before March of this year, I had made and shared 2 videos of myself sitting down to play music. Since March of this year, I've added over 90 more. For the past few months, I've been releasing a video every weekday morning at 10 o'clock in a series that I'm calling The Morning Cordial. I do it on YouTube, I do it on Facebook. I was so reluctant to make videos before COVID. I hated watching myself. It felt like vanity to do. It felt like it's all about me. And it was also this fantastic opportunity to make lots of mistakes and see lots of things go wrong. Videos are just full of moments that you wish you had done just a little bit differently. Whether it's the sound not being quite right, or you're making a funny face, or you flub a note. It's so much easier to play live, where all those mistakes just sort of disappear. But during the time of COVID, live music was over, right when the need for music was more present than ever. There we were, being bombarded with uncertainty and fear, and what we needed was a little bit of comfort, something to help us take a deep breath, something warm, maybe something soothing. And I felt like maybe that was right up my alley. I've always felt called to make music like that. Always warm, never cool. I don't really do angry or driving or edgy. I write songs about appreciating little things, home, nature, and my shows are full of cover songs along those same lines. So I set off on a kind of musical ministry of my own to offer just that kind of service. And these lessons from my UU experience are in my mind a lot. Of course, you can't make 5 videos a week without embracing the idea that good enough is good enough. There's not enough time in the day to fuss over that many details. This has been transformative to me. Just the volume of work that I'm doing has let me try so many new things, reach so many people. I don't know what songs people need to hear, but I know what I need to sing. And when I sing more, then I get more chances to connect and more chances to help, which is all good, as long as it's not always all about me. There have certainly been moments where I have gotten very full of myself about how well a particular video might be doing or some kind of feedback I'm getting. And then the next day, when things aren't going as well, I'm in a tailspin. But if I picture the people who are alone and anxious or out of work and struggling to take care of their kids, or who are sick or who are tending to the sick, then I can start to get my head on straight again. I think of all the people who have reached out to me to let me know how much the music has meant to them with whatever they were going through. And people are going through a lot. I think about the people who have reached out to offer financial support as well. And again, following the lead of the UU, I've been sharing these online donations 50-50 with my own kind of charity with soul. It helps me make it feel like it's not all about me. And then when my own feelings get dark, when my fear overflows into anger, and I find myself maybe writing a song just dripping with sarcasm and contempt, for instance, for the anti-mask movement, maybe. And it feels really cathartic to sing, and I just want to be allowed to be mad and mean for a change. I try to remember to look down at my compass and see whether or not I'm still heading in the right direction. I'll be honest, I'm not really comfortable with the word ministry for what I'm doing. But to minister to someone is to give aid and service, and I'm really behind that. It's my hope that you might take this story as an inspiration to find your own ministry right now. It's hard. It's vulnerable to share of your true self, of your passions. Sometimes we get caught up thinking that we don't measure up, that there are so many people out there who are better than we are at whatever, but it doesn't matter because it's not about how you measure up. It's not about you at all. Good enough is good enough, and something is so much better than nothing. I hope you'll choose a thing that gives your life joy and meaning and find a way to share that with the rest of us. To put both feet forward, the best one on the other one at a time. Occasionally consulting that compass when you're not sure what the next right step is. That feels like a way we can keep walking together.
Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Green snake in the sweet grass, slide away, slide away. Green snake in the sweet grass, slide away home. 'Cause the sunset through the birches paints a picture on the wall. The dandelions are closing and the hermit thrush calls. So Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Baby in the bathtub, splash away, splash away. Baby in the bathtub, splash the whole floor. And mama in the kitchen, won't you sing away, sing away. Mama in the kitchen, won't you sing a little more? 'Cause there's moonlight on the window and the chicken's home to roost. And this train is bound for bedtime, so shoot that red caboose. And baby in the bathtub, splash away. And mama in the kitchen, won't you sing a little more? Brown bat in the starlight, sweep away, swoop away. Brown bat in the starlight, dancing on a breeze. And there's peepers in the frog pond, and they peep away and squeak away. Peepers in the frog pond are singing through the trees. And there's a barred owl in an oak tree, like the ghost of Robert Frost. He's asking about the yellow wood, the two roads, and the cost. While the peepers in the frog pond peep away, squeak away. And a brown bat in the starlight is dancing on a breeze. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home.
May we all find ways to minister to each other in this time of COVID. Whether what we have to offer is a song or a dance, a hot meal, a beautiful garden, a helping hand, or just a smile that reaches your eyes and shines out over your mask. May we find meaningful connection that lightens our loads, brightens our days, and opens our hearts. So may it be.